Okay. So merging of the data frame, it's nothing but join in SQL. In SQL classes, we learned how to join more than one, I mean, two or more than two tables over there. Similar kind of thing, we can join more than two or more than two data frames by the merge. It is also called merging horizontally. The last we have learned concatenation. Concatenation is nothing but union. We can merge the data vertically. Okay, based on the same column name that I have focused on last working day. It's not exactly the union all. So today we'll be going to learn merge. Okay. So what are the difference in merge and concat will be just quickly check. For that I have created two different data set. One is called student, another one is called teacher. Student and teacher. Let me open those two. Okay, the student data set is having this data: student ID, class, student's name, and there is a foreign key teacher ID. Okay, student ID, class name, teacher ID. This is about student data set. Okay, teacher ID maybe it's a class teacher ID or just like this. As we know that individual classes is having one class teacher. So you can see just like class 3 is having the same class teacher. Okay. Let's check what is there in teacher. Teacher ID should be a simple one. Yes. Teacher ID should be a simple one. It's having only relationship. Teacher ID and the subject, the particular teacher is attached to it. He or she is learning those subject. Teacher ID 1 is, he's attached to it English, 2 is maths. So that which student is learning which subject, just like this concept we'll be checking. So we just need to set up relationship. Which student is learning which subject. In the student table, there is no direct relationship between students and subject. Okay. Over here, we can see teacher and subjects relationship. We have a common column called teacher ID in both of the data set. Based on this column, we can create join or merge. Okay. So let's go ahead how to do that thing. First of all, I'm going to import both of the data set. So the data set resides here into this location. Okay. We can also take the path from here, copy as path, directly going to the worksheet that we are working. Okay, the last is class. I'm just removing these things till this point. Let me remove. Let me also remove this thing. Okay, so I'm keeping these things because those things are required during loading part, data loading. I'm just starting my program over here. So pandas is already imported. I'm just going to read SQL. So the first thing is DFT, means DF teacher, or let me put DFS for DF student, data from student. Okay. So the command is pd.read pd.read CSV or anything. It's a CSV file. Let me quickly check it. Or Excel file. Yeah, comma separated values. So it's a CSV file. Read underscore CSV. Okay. And pass the parameter as the path. Okay, just one thing I mentioned. We need to put double backslash over here because first backslash it's doing I mean, it's working as a escape character, and second one is the original string. Okay, so this data frame is storing this student CSV. Let me remove this double quote, this multiple double quote over here. Okay, in the similar way, let me create the teacher DFT equal PD dot read CSV. The path is same, only the CSV file name is different. So I'm copying this entire path, pasting it over here. Instead of student, let me put teacher. Okay, so I'm creating two different data frame. One is for student, other one is for teacher. Let me quickly print those things to check whether the data frames are really created or not. Okay, so those are the two data frame. The first one is for student, second one is for teacher. Yeah, there is no issue. The common column is teacher ID. That is fine. Okay, so let's go ahead with the merging activity. So I'm going to create a new data set after merging. So let's put DFM. Let's put data frame after merge. M for merge. Okay. So this should be a final data frame after merging activity. So how to do merge? PD dot merge. It's a function with and I need to call the data frame inside it as the input parameter. So first I'm passing DFS, that is student data frame, then DFT. Okay. Okay. Other things I need to first, what is the joining column or joining key? It's teacher ID. So I can put on. Okay. First of all, if we have the two columns with having separate naming convention, over here it's same teacher ID and student. I mean, over here it's also teacher ID. No change is there in the, I mean, not, I mean, a typing or any string basis, there is no change. So I can put on single column, that is teacher ID. If we have separate column at the left table and right table, left means this data frame is left as I'm mentioning this thing earlier and this thing later. So DFS is our left data frame. So if we have separate column convention, then we just need to mention in this way. Left on is the parameter name. Okay. And right on means from the right table, what is the parameter? It should be also teacher ID. That can be mentioned, but over here we can put simply on because there is single column with having the same naming convention. So we can directly put on teacher ID. No need to mention right on and left on. It's separate manner. It's our own wish, no issue. Let me put in this way, just for understanding. Okay. By default, the joining should be inner join in nature. If I do not put what kind of join I'm going to perform, join means merge. By default, it should be inner join. Or you can also mention its inner join just like this. Sorry. The parameter name should be how, HOW. What kind of join I want to perform. Okay. Let me put inner. Okay. I can put only join. Okay. Let me pass this thing. And let me print the result of DFM. Okay. So you can see inner join means we know what is inner join. We learned this thing in SQL chapters. The common keys, only the common keys in both of the data set will be there in the final data set. So over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That means over here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6 is not present in first data frame. So we're only having 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1 is twice, that's why it's twice. We have the relationship now between student and subject. We are able to understand the student ID 1 is learning which subject in a particular institution. Okay. So this is how merging activity can be done. If we want to perform a left join, just we need to mention over here in how that can be left. That keyword should be modified. If we want a right join, then that thing should be right. Okay. If we just for left, I think that should be the same thing. Left join means DFS should be our standard table. So we will be taking all the data from DFS first. Now I need to check from the joining column what are the matching records available in DFT. Actually, this is a subset of DFT. That is why the result of inner join is similar than that of left join. If we put right join, then for the right join, DFT should be a standard table. So it will be checking what are the available columns from DFT is there in DFS. But we can see there are two extra keys, 5 and 6. Those are not available over here. So for this thing, while we will be doing merge for 5 and 6, there should be null records for for the particular columns which are coming from DFS. Okay, let me run it for right join. Then you can able to understand. Okay, for 5 and 6, the teacher who are teaching the students geography and statistics, they are having null students because the teacher maybe came new to the institution, so no particular student is learning that subject. Okay, so this is how merge activity can be performed. Those are the keywords for merging activity. Let's go ahead with a quick concatenation. Last day, whatever we have learned on top of concatenation, not this one. Yeah, concat means union. Let's perform a quick union on top of this data set. Let's see what happened over here. Once more time. So I'm just updating as DFC means DF concatenation. Instead of passing all those steps, we do not require all those things. Just pass PD dot concat. I'm passing concat. Okay. Printing the final result. Just to check what is the output of concatenation. Okay, that thing should be passed within a list. Okay, now you can see it's vertically merged, not exactly joined. So we have a common column teacher ID. Teacher ID is got merged properly. Other than teacher ID, there is no such common column. That is why they are putting the DFS first over here. From the DFS, there is no such subject column. That is why for the subject column from the first data set, they are contributing null value. Okay. From the second data set, we are only having teacher ID and subject ID. So when we are inputting the data for second, we are getting data for the last data. I mean, one English, two maths. But for each of the records, these records are null. Okay. Hopefully that is understandable. So this is how concatenation works. We just need to determine what kind of operation we need to perform based on the requirement. If we need to perform join, then we need to go ahead with merge. If we need to concatenate, means kind of union or this kind of stuffs, then we need to perform concatenation. Any stuck points so far? Okay, I hope no. So this is how we can transform the data set. I'm not going to mention transformation, but you can just quickly search it over here. Pandas, there is lots of documentation in Pandas, Python Pandas documentation. Okay. Suppose you can search with Pandas data frame documentation. Okay. So starting from index, column, data types, info, there are lots of things are there. The entire thing is there, but all the things are not very important. But for your learning purpose, you can quickly check it. Just have a look, or if you are going to have an interview, you want to read in details, so you can check this thing when you have some time. Directly pasting it over here in our group, WhatsApp group itself. So when you have some time, just go ahead and check it. Okay. So now, suppose those are all the data frames transformation, main transformation we have went through over here. Now we just need to check it how we can load the data frame to a database. Okay. We already set up a connection over here at the beginning. We do not need to create a data frame from database. Now database should be our target system. Okay. So the same database, let's use the same database as our target system. Our source system is these two file, these two flat file. One is teacher, another one is student. And let's take this MySQL database. Let me open the MySQL database over here. Okay, it's already there. Okay, so this is our database. We already checked it. We have extracted data from here to a Python. Now we will be loading data here. We need to write data into this database. Let's check how to do that. Let's take this data frame. Whatever we have concatenated, not the concatenated one, the merge one, let's take. Okay, this is the merge data set. DFM. It was DFM. Okay, this is not required. I'm not going to read any data set, but I'm using this connection string. The same connection string can be used during loading data at the target or loading data any. This is my target now, any database. I'll be going to use this engine again. Just remember this is the connection string engine. Engine is the variable where I have created this connection string. Okay. So this is my DFM, that is fine. So how to write data? The query is not query, the syntax is okay. Put the data frame DFM, the one that I want to insert as a format of table. Okay. So DFM dot to SQL. Okay. There are lots of parameter actually. You can see over here, or you can search this ToSQL over there as well. ToSQL, then pass the table name. Suppose the table name is DFM. So just put DFM over here as well, or put any teacher, student, anything. Teacher or student teacher. Student underscore teacher. After that, we need to pass the connection parameter, that is engine. Then we can pass the database where we need to write. We already mentioned the database over here, Stata data training. So we can put, we cannot put. That is our own wish. We just need to put over here or here, anywhere. In engine, it's already mentioned. We can mention the thing over here. We cannot mention. It's as per our own wish. Okay. So those are the input parameter. Let's try to execute the same. Let me check whether there is any similar kind of table is available there. Student teacher. No. Can see in data training under tables, there are this kind of tables are available. Okay. Let me run this. Yeah, teacher, student. This is fine. Okay. I didn't put any log. I can put over here. The data load is completed, just like this kind of print statement. Over here, after this statement, the data load is completed. Okay. Let's check over here. The particular things has been completed successfully over here. Did not have any log that time. But let's see over here in the database. I'm just going to refresh it. I refreshed it. Yes, you can see the new table has just created with this particular data set. Let's check the data once more time over here. Student ID, class. Okay, there is a one index column. Student ID, class, name, teacher ID, and subject. Same. Let's have a select query. Before doing a select query, I want to reconnect to my database. But as I found some issue while putting MySQL, so I need to reconnect it. Okay, let's put a select star from student. Okay, so you can see the same data has been loaded properly. Okay, what the data is there? A similar kind of record has been processed successfully. There is a new column called index. Over here, index was not a new column. Index is just index as a data frame convention. But over here, a new column has been inserted called index just to represent the same data frame. Over here, null value is there because we were performing a right join and the data was not there for those two teacher ID. That is why it's null. So it's successfully, we are able to successfully load the data at the database. Okay. If we want to run the same date, I mean, same program again, let me run the same program. Let's check what happened. I ran the same program few times ago. It was successful, but it failed. What is the error? Table student teacher already exists. So when it's going to run this thing by default, it's trying to create this table and trying to put the data from data frame. As the table is already existed, so there is an issue. They throw the error. If I just rename the table name, suppose underscore one, this table is new in the database. There is no such table convention. Let's run this. Yeah, it's successfully completed. If we rerun this again, it's showing the error because this is existed. So if we put this kind of code and run every day, it should be throwing error. To control this thing, we have another parameter called if exists. If we do not put this parameter, by default, it should be failed. if exist, we can put fail or error, this kind of thing. Okay, let's quickly check into SQL. What are the different things we need to put? Pandas to SQL. Okay, let's check the documentation. Okay, if exist, by default it's fail. If there the table is already existing, by default it's fail. So we can pass this thing or we cannot pass, it's our own wish. Okay, let's check only if exist part. Okay, if exist can be fail, can be replace, can be append. By default it's fail. If we do not put anything, it will be taking only fail one. If we put replace, means it will be replacing the table each time when it will be running. This is a good idea, we can do it over here. Let's put replace. If I'm running with replace, then it's nothing but, if you can remember during business intelligence chapter, we learned about truncate and load. So replace is doing similar kind of operation. Daily basis, it's replacing the table at the target. It's not exactly truncate load. It is dropping and recreating the table once more. But the functionality is not exactly same, but it's doing a truncate load kind of thing. Okay, at the target side, it's dropping the table and recreating the table with the data frames, new data. This is the concept. We can run this thing anytime. There will be no failure because we are passing this parameter with replace keyword. Okay, so data is dropping from there and going to replace it. There is another parameters value called append. Append means the data got appended. How much time I'll be running this thing, the things will be going to be append. We learned about insert only in business intelligence. There is a loading strategy called only insert, no upsert, only insert. Okay, so append is doing nothing but the insert. So let's run this. The table is already there. We just check the table is already there. Yes, let's run this thing. Okay, before that, let me disconnect from the database because there is an issue with the MySQL. The ongoing instances does not able to capture if we going to run this. Okay, let's run this. I ran it first time. It's successfully completed. I'm running it second time. So data was there. After having the data, I'm running it second time. Let's log into the database and check the table. Okay, the same table is there. Let me have a query. Yeah, you can see the data is getting inserted thrice. Till here, till this row, the first time it was there already. Okay, when we run the job again for the second time from the Python, the data got loaded. As the mode is append, so data is getting appended. Okay, similar kind of thing is here as well. But this is not a good data. Maybe our index, if we uh, design this kind of table, we must have to think about primary key. And you can, I mean, when we'll be doing the primary keys, I mean, when we are implementing student ID's primary key or index may be primary key, anything, then there should be a primary key violation at the target. We need to implement this kind of architecture. This is called upsert. Upsert is one of the important data loading strategy. We also discussed this thing in our business intelligence days. Upsert means what are the existing records we need to go ahead with update mode, and what are the new records we just need to insert those. Okay, but over here in this mode, append mode, we are not checking what is going to be updated, what is going to be inserted. By default, they're inserting everything. So in our exercise, we will be trying to create an upsert model by using all those things. We need to check it. The existing records, the primary keys are same or not. If those are same, then we can go ahead with update. Maybe some attributes has been modified. If this is not the same, if it's totally a new student are going to be admitted into the institution, then that should be inserted. Okay, based on the data, we can do that. So please try to do this thing by your homework. I'll be giving this thing separately. Just I'm telling, I mean, today most of the students did not join. So I'll be also repeating again the same thing for the question only. The question part I'll be repeating. But you can also try how we can do upsert. Okay. So you need to write the logic, or we need to check what are the existing columns are already existing. We can go ahead with update mode. What are the existing, what's not existing one? Can go ahead with insert mode. Okay, so this is, you can work this thing as a homework. I'll be also formally putting the homework in the group as well for the students who did not join. Or maybe tomorrow I'll be also taking few minutes to discuss this homework again. Okay. Okay, one more thing just I want to mention. This is how we are loading data at a target. Target is a relational database. There may be option we can load the target maybe in a shared location, maybe in a S3 bucket, maybe in a Azure blob storage. Then you just need to put in which format you want to put. Suppose DFM, there's a 2 CSV, 2 CSV, 2 string, 2 HDF. There is lots of options are there. If you if you want to put the thing in a S3 bucket as a CSV format, just mention the S3 bucket places over here. The command is same 2 CSV. Suppose you want to store as a Parquet file, 2 Parquet should be there. Yes. Okay. So the 2 underscore the format should be there. This is to load the data at the target site. Okay, just go ahead with this thing. I mean, try it and perform the upsert. Upsert part. Any doubt so far from anyone till now? Any doubt? Tarun, Shiva, Sricharan, anyone is having any doubt?
No, sir. No.
Okay.
No, sir.
Uh, okay. So this is how we can go ahead with extract, transform, load. The 3 days we have learned how we can perform ETL operations based on Python. Offset part we will be trying to load even from the extracting part. If we just go ahead with delta load, over here we just go ahead with truncate and load. Delta load means, if you can quickly remember or recall, that during our BI lessons, we learned how to do the delta load, means how we can extract only the new records, not the entire records. Okay. So how to perform this thing? If we just have this, we can also try this thing in our exercise as well. So those can be exercise. Just please try this thing and think about it. I'll be also repeating the exercise again in tomorrow's session, because this should be a good project for us to implement a upsert load with the incremental extraction thing. If you're using only Python, I'll be teaching you the Git classes, so you can put your codes into Git. So that can be a good project for all of us. Okay. Okay. Now I'll be just going to put, we have lots of time. I'm just going to put some more technique, visualization technique on top of Python. Although we'll not be going to use visualization part on top of Python, we'll be demonstrating a separate tool called Power BI, which is from Microsoft. We're having a demonstration on top of it. So as of now, okay. In Python as well, there are some libraries, just like Matplotlib. Okay, it's a good library, a package for plotting purpose. So when our data warehouse is ready, so this way, I mean, when we are loading the data, means we are creating our data warehouse. We are doing all kind of transformation. Maybe after doing all the transformation, we are creating maybe 5 or 6 data frames to represent our fact and dimensions. Okay, and after that, we are pushing it to our relational database. Maybe it's a Snowflake database, maybe it's a MySQL database, whatever it is, we are going to put it there. Okay. After that, on top of those tables, we need to create suitable charts and graphs, which are called visualization technique. So if you already joined in our business intelligence class, that time we told we need to create the KPIs. By watching the KPIs, the business owner can take the decisions whether their goal is fine, they are going with the correct way, or they need to change the strategy. Okay, so that is why visualization technique is required. Over here, we can go ahead with some visualization technique, just like Matplotlib. PyPlot is a module there. I'm aliasing is at PLT. This is the simplest technique. This is the simplest graph I'm just going to draw. I declared one list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and declared another list over here. Just I'm doubling it. Okay. Just I'm doing nothing. I'm going to draw a plot between X and Y where X is a dependent variable, Y is a independent. X is an independent, Y is a dependent. Okay. So this is plot, PLT dot plot. Plot is the particular function. Okay. And at the end, I'm doing plot dot show, PLT dot show, that will be printing the result. At the below, there is another thing. Let me comment this thing out. Okay. Pandas is not required over here. Although you can import it, there'll be no issue. So this is the code. Okay. So I'm doing nothing, calling matplotlib. I also need to install the same module over here. The similar way we have installed pandas. Just calling X as a list format, Y as a list format, calling this PLT dot plot, passing the independent variable and dependent variable as input parameter. Here I'm doing PLT dot show, that will be showing the result. Let's run this. It's test 3, so I'm changing it to test 3. I'm going to run it. So this is a simple plot, means it's a line chart. Okay. So this is how we can do the visualization technique in Python as well. Over here, I think we can change the thing over here as well. If we just update this thing bar function, that should be bar plot. Why it's running? Okay, so this is a simple bar chart as well. So whatever chart is required, there are lots of charts available. That are just after dot, after PLT dot, you can put the thing dot and see all the functions available. Rectangle, scatter plot is there, subplots. Okay, we put scatter plot, X and Y. It should be a scatter plot. So what kind of plot we require? And go ahead with this one. Now, for the practical purpose, this should not be a practical purpose. Suppose we want to draw a graph. I'm just going to comment this thing out and commenting in this part. I'm going to import the same Excel, the student underscore CSV file. So PD is required there, pandas 1. Yeah, it's fine. Let's print the data frame first. Just to recall what the data frame is, you already checked the data frame few days ago. It's nothing but this exam dot result. Yeah, student, subject, their age and marks. Okay. I'm doing a simple group by statement and picking up only name and subject. Okay. Name subject and doing a aggregation on top of marks. So you're only having name and marks. Now I want to draw a graph between name and marks. So this is the way. This is a practical example. I'm creating a subplots over here on my plot. Okay. And from the subplot, I am giving a name X of the subplot. Then we can change this bar as a line chart or scatter plot, whatever things I want to do. Similar kind of operation, whatever we have done over here. But this time we are doing a subplot and creating this thing. Okay, so you can change this thing at bar chart or any other chart, line chart, scatter plot, anything. And in the same bracket, we have to pass the independent variable, then dependent variable. It's in data frame format or data frame column, as we want to see name versus marks of a particular examination. Let me just print the result. It's data frame 1 and it's the final update. The students and their marks after doing the aggregation, because each of the students, I mean, there are two different subjects. We are doing the summation first, and it's not summation. Actually, we are doing a mean. Mean means arithmetic mean, average operation for each of the students' marks, and doing this thing kind of graphs. Okay. So this is how we can go ahead with the visualization part. I'm not going to emphasize much more of this because there is another tool we'll be going to learn in our courses. That is Power BI tool. There should be quick hands-on, maybe 2 or 3 days class has been reserved for the visualization part. There will be creating the data modeling and all. So just this is a basic overview how we can draw charts and graphs on the Python itself. Okay. We have another library is called Seaborn, but Matplotlib is one of the important. So let's learn from here on. Any doubt so far from anyone? Okay, no doubt. So please check the thing at your side. There, I mean, we'll be trying to go ahead with exercise maybe day after tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. I'll be giving the exercise maybe tomorrow formally with a doc file or PDF file in the same abstract mode. The thing I'll be mentioning the same thing. Or let's keep a separate database. Let's keep the source system as MySQL or a flat file. I'll be introducing another new database, maybe Snowflake or any other thing, maybe in tomorrow's session. So that in exercise, we'll be taking our target system and Snowflake. Okay. And we'll be having a quick session on top of Git as well. So that if individual of you should be having a Git account at your side and you can push the code there and you can send me the link of your Git so that I can check the codes. Okay. Any doubt? Yeah. Okay, let's close the session for today. Let's connect again tomorrow and let's see whatever we can cover tomorrow session. After that, we'll be solving the exercise. But please try this thing at your side. I mean, whatever transformation we have, I mean, already checked how we can extract, how we can load. Okay. try to incorporate the things in a class. Okay. Okay. That's all for today. Let's connect tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.